Hey everybody,
What's the point if you just talk over it?
welcome to episode 83 of Press Any Key. I am your host, Pat Navarano. With me as always, my two wonderful co-hosts, Nick McFly up in the top left, and over here we have Mike Burke. Everybody, give it a round of applause for each other. We have done it, and the reason we are celebrating
this
today.
is episode 84, not 83.
I was about to
Oh,
say,
is it?
83 was last week, my
Oh
dude.
shit, my bad. All right, 84 it is. All right. So anyway, we were supposed to be back together this week. However, I can't
What
even
happened,
explain what happened to me.
You know what it was?
What was it?
Monkeypox.
Monkeypox. Yeah, monkeypox came for me. No, you know what? That's the last thing. I actually didn't even think of that it was monkeypox.
Yeah.
But
Well,
basically,
if you don't test for it, you never know.
See something, say something.
Yeah, I don't know. We went to see Ghost on Saturday night, and I just spiked a 102 temp in the middle of the fucking show, and was like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and then that didn't end well, and then I suffered all night, and then my fever broke in the morning, and I guess I'm okay now. I don't know. I'm on steroids now for my throat too. I got all fucked up. I was texting you guys earlier today, and I said, I don't know what it is, but it's like when I get sick, it's like I just fall apart for a whole week and then I'm fine. Like, I don't know what it is.
I was trying to find that picture of the like you tweeted, like, this is the worst pain I've ever felt in my life.
Wrong again. Well, that's what I said when I was laying there. When Liz took my temperature at one point, she was like, you're up to 102.3. She was like, if this goes any higher, we're going to the hospital. And I was like,
You're looking at
fuck.
radio station numbers now.
Yeah.
How did she take it? Were you on hands and knees and like couldn't do
Yeah.
this yourself?
Yeah.
To get the,
We couldn't find the people for thermometer. We only have the cat thermometer.
We got to do it in their ass. So, but no, and like the worst thing was like it wasn't just like a fever. It's like your entire body aches and chills. So it's like every place where I already had like an issue in my back, or like my elbow kind of clicks when I do that. Like all of that shit hurt.
It unlocked all your other.
Yeah, pretty much. It was
Chill
like we are turning
all
the
of your
pain up
pain.
to 11. So I watched H3 and Hassan literally for like 8 hours on Friday into Saturday
Just a
morning.
normal day for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
right.
mean, this was
There was no
overload.
carpet cleaning
Like I was
or
watching
car detailing.
3-hour cuts of Hassan's stream that somebody else uploaded to YouTube. Like, so I mean, either way though, we were gonna get together on Saturday morning and do it. It didn't work out because I was sick, and like we should have like obviously just taken it slow, which I did, and now I feel a lot better because of that. But next week we will be in this fucking room and we will do a proper show. We'll have 2 guests on. We're gonna have Matt and Mark Movie Show is coming here, and then Genre Geeks are also gonna be here, and we're gonna be talking about Pearl, which is the prequel to X, which I can't remember. Burke, did you see that?
I did not.
I know Nick
Oh,
saw
you
it
didn't?
because we were all disappointed for different reasons.
Did
However,
Danny, was Danny?
Danny
still
was
around
the
at
other
that
one
point?
who's Danny was still
he
around
had
at that
watched
point.
it. I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, however, I do recommend that you seek out this one before we watch, because I honestly, I genuinely believe that this one is going to be better than the last one. I know a lot of people love the first one. I got fucking destroyed in the marketplace of ideas when it came to doing a podcast with AJ about that movie. Like there's just so much shit I didn't pick up on.
I think you were unprepared for that discussion.
So unprepared. I was not ready, and it was late as fuck too. I had just gotten out of rehearsal. It was not. We were not ready for this.
You weren't in the best.
This one though, I'm ready for. I'm ready for this one. Provided I don't, shit myself or something or throw up the night before. I don't know. Whatever happens.
That monkeypox kicks
That
back.
monkeypox comes back.
it.
So, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to all of us being here again. More
And then
importantly,
the next week we're all gone again.
well, you guys are gone, but I'm doing something here. So I will find people to do something here.
Pat's doing a birthday stream for me.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Both of our birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be getting naked anyway.
Yeah, the birthday
So
stream.
the other
This
thing
one's
is,
for you guys.
I have this little sign up here, back here, that says Nerd Shit Live. And for anybody who hasn't been following along for the past 2 years, which I've seen the way the audience grew, you haven't been. as far as I'm concerned,
calling out the fans.
yeah,
There's a short shelf life.
Yeah. So that was the original name of this show, and it was horrible, and it's PTSD. Either way, though, I put it up today because it's history. Because this is officially our 2-year anniversary of doing this show.
Shit.
Yeah.
Really?
We have done close.
Did you put together a clip show for time?
Absolutely not, dude. The only clips that I could put together was me agonizing over a toilet bowl. Okay, like that's
It's just your be real in the toilet, like sweating.
That's
it's time to be real.
Yeah. So yeah, but 2 years we've been doing this show. I cannot believe that Nick has been here the longest out of anybody. And we talk about that frequently because it was like Nick came to my house to hang out and I just mentioned it in passing. And then Nick texted me probably 2 or 3 days later saying, "Hey, I'm going to come do that thing that you guys are doing." And I was just like, okay. Like,
I was like, that sounds like fun. I want to be a part of that.
And there was, like I said, there was no formal invitation. I just went to the studio and I was just like, "Hey, Nick is coming." And Joe was like, "What is he gonna do?" We're like, "I don't know, but he's coming, so whatever."
You went to the studio. You mean you went to Joe's childhood
bedroom at the time was the studio. The studio, yes. So yeah, and then we had Jer and Danny, and they both went off and did things in Hollywood because now Danny works for Warner Brothers.
And now we can blame him for everything that's
wrong.
I
know. And Jer, he put this on his social media, and he told me recently in passing. I'm assuming that it's open knowledge now. He actually just finished up VFX work on Hocus Pocus 2. So that'll be coming out in a couple weeks. So round of applause for
that too.
Our boy Jer. Round of applause. Yeah, I mean the VFX works fine, but everything else sucks though.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really glad. I mean, listen, I'm glad that people are leaving this show for good reason. For good reason. For, how do I say it? For greener pastures, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like, the grass is greener when you're not on press any key. So,
unfortunately.
With that said, gents, should we get started? Because we should
just keep going on this
fuck
conversation
ton to cover tonight. We got a lot to cover tonight, and honestly, it's not that bad. It's really like, honestly, we have the Apple event, which was cool because there was some meaningful progressions for all of the Apple products across the board. I'm so glad that there was actually, it looks like there was a jump, like a generational jump in how they're presenting their products now. We have the D23 event, which I'm actually glad we didn't record on Saturday because the gaming and the movie announcements were yesterday, and oh my god, I can't believe how fucking hard they face planted during that entire presentation. It's amazing.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Oh yeah, the live coverage was.
I didn't watch the live coverage.
Okay, well, here's the thing: is that there was no like real like live coverage, like live stream you could tune into or anything. It was just like occasional stuff you could check out here and there. But just everything they announced was just like shit that we already knew about, and it's just like, oh, here's the casting for it. And the one casting that we'll get into later that everybody was looking forward to didn't even show up at all. And it goes back to that thing that I say where it's like, don't let your speculations set your expectations, because these motherfuckers were wilding on Twitter afterwards. It was a shit show. It was like the Queen died and Twitter was amazing for 24 hours. And then D23 happened and we...
kept it going,
and we all shit the bed. That's pretty much what happened.
No, dude, we have Zach Panther.
Zach Panther, yeah. Did you see that one tweet that was like, "I'm so drunk, I think Zach Panther is the funniest goddamn thing right now."
Yeah. We'll get to it.
So then, on top of that, to top off this shit sandwich, we watched fucking Pinocchio, and my god.
It was the best Disney movie I've seen in about a decade.
We're all so excited.
I've been friends with you long enough to know when you're lying, and this is one of those times.
Yeah, you got me. I didn't like it.
Love seeing a hobbled Tom Cruise. So,
all right, we'll get into it. So let's start with the Apple event.
Did I miss something?
Now he had big old clunky shoes. That's all. Did you not see them? He had like big old Mickey Mouse shoes. We'll get into it.
Bro, he had
What are
clod
you
hoppers
talking? What? I think I watched the wrong movie.
Is Pinocchio supposed to have sex with somebody in that movie? Because I think I watched the wrong one then. So anyway, so we'll start with the Apple event. So let's just go with the phones immediately. First up, we had the regular standard upgrade iPhone 14. It starts at $799. It has the 13 A15 Bionic chip in it. However, they did add a 5-core GPU to it. The main camera is still 12 megapixels. However, there is a bigger sensor for improved low light photos. That's a meaningful progression within that price range because that camera is still better than everything else that is in that price range on phones. Like, there's just no two ways about it.
The low light camera, I like, even on, because I have the 12 Pro, and the low light camera on that is substantially better than, like, my friend has a 10 and, like, was trying to do, like, the QR codes at a restaurant and could not get a single thing. And I
That's
just, like,
amazing.
Boom.
I got that shit, bro.
I don't even know how, like, it's going to look like daytime with that camera.
Yeah, that's kind of like the move now. But also, like, my one friend has he has a Galaxy, right? And he showed me his low light camera, and when he took a picture of my backyard when we were just in darkness, it looked like daylight outside. It was wild.
My backyard. My backyard.
My backyard.
I don't even remember sleeping with that lady, but I did. So then we have the iPhone 14 Plus. Same internals as the regular one. It's just bigger. It's just, Grandpa can't see. Let's get him the bigger phone. This one has a 6.7-inch touchscreen, and it's also got a bigger battery than the iPhone 14. I don't know how much bigger. It can't be that much bigger because you can't bring it on a fucking plane past a certain point. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, like my laptop, these M1 Max laptops, technically they're a little underpowered because they can't put a bigger battery in it, or you can't take it on a plane.
Wait, I've never had an issue taking a laptop on a plane.
I know you don't have an issue taking it on a plane. I don't have an issue either. That's because they put a smaller battery in. There's a certain battery size.
I've been bringing my Commodore 64 on the plane.
Your Commodore 64? Man, what a reference.
All
right.
We found one in my grandpa's garage like a week ago.
Did you take it?
And how many flights have you taken since then?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I brought like 10. I'm going everywhere. I'm showing it off.
I'm just flying to Philly at this point, and I'm tapping the guy. Hey, did you see my Commodore 64? It's fucking wild.
I buy a ticket for it to sit in the seat next to me, and I'm just like, check it out.
Check it out. Hey, do you mind if I sit near the window? No, that's the Commodore seat. Okay.
That's where the Commodore goes.
So, then we have the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Pro Max. Both of these phones have the same internals. It's just the same thing. Like, one's bigger than the other one. These phones start at $1,000. And they have a 4-nanometer A16 Bionic chipset. That means when this phone hits the market next week, it'll be the most powerful phone on the market until Samsung just copies their internals and then pretends that they did something awesome. Like, did you see that? Is it Pixel? Which is the one?
Are you talking about the Fold?
No. Which is the one where they're always... all of their ads are not even selling their own phones at this point. It's just talking about how they have all the same features as the iPhone, but they're half the price.
That's what I saw one for whatever that, that whatever screen folds, whatever
Yeah.
phone that is.
Yeah, that's Galaxy, yeah.
Yeah, it was basically like, hey, Apple, we've had this for 2.5 years. Why do you hate folding? I was like, you're just
it's
nagging
like,
Apple.
because I'm not
why, what? Cool, but why? Like, why would I pay for that feature?
It's also
just
fucking
me
dumb.
As a consumer, I was like, this is just two companies talking to each other, like shitting on each other. And Twitter. I was like, I don't care.
Mike, in this day and age, that does, culture war stuff, meme culture, like people like that. You gotta buy into the brand, Michael.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Wendy's is the king of shit talking other brands on Twitter.
That's true, yeah.
Wendy's and Crazy Frog, both two.
Crazy Frog.
Oh, you gotta check out Crazy Frog Twitter.
Like Crazy Frog, like the Bing guy.
You go on the Twitter when you have a minute.
Canonically, he has a penis. Did you guys know that?
He does, and he tweeted the other day one word: penis. He just tweeted penis.
Canonically, he does.
I mean, the Slim Jim Instagram is pretty good too.
Sorry, I don't follow Slim Jim on Twitter.
You should go on Slim Jim's Instagram account. It's great. It's just that they let a meme lord run their account.
So, this new phone also
on the crazy frog bed tonight.
the most
I'm gonna be zoned out of the rest of the episode.
The most meaningful progression though on this phone specifically is that it includes a 48 megapixel camera. That is absolutely wild. They removed the middle notch as well. I don't know if you guys seen this right here.
Oh yeah.
And they have replaced it with a cutout that they actually called the dynamic island, and it incorporates animations and notifications. So you can actually touch that now and open it up and see your noties, and you can change your music and everything.
It'll do things where it'll like show that your headphones are connected. It'll show volume. It'll show like kind of like text preview. You can click it and it'll like expand into like the Spotify playlist or things like that.
It's also
kind of like
this sounds like the touch bar.
It's similar to the touch bar, but it's actually functional.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know, Mike? You've never used it.
I have a touch bar and it sucks.
And I can tell you.
No. I'm saying this new one.
I'm just saying I have the touch bar and I can tell you anything else will be more functional.
It can't get any worse.
They literally like they are digging to China at that point if they go any lower. But one of the other things they have this new technology for the always on display. Did you see this, Mike? Where it's like, so your phone display, it never locks now. Like it never goes black. However, it goes into like this screensaver mode or some shit where it like just goes low light, but you can still see all your notifications and everything. It's really weird. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like having to see like my phone background and everything if like my phone's on the table and everything, just because it's aesthetically pleasing to the eye. But I mean, isn't that gonna like drain fucking battery life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna put on my tinfoil hat and be like, well, now it's always listening more than it was in the first place, and it's looking at me.
So just for all the crazies that listen to our show, your phone isn't listening to you. That's just how good their fucking algorithms are,
dude. That's the thing. I always constantly have to stress to people. It's like you tell them everything you think. You type it in. You tell them. They don't have to listen.
Also, like they know you so well. They know your next 5 moves before you even make them. And I mean, listen, we did an episode on it. What is it? The social, whatever the fuck. What's that documentary on Netflix?
Social Dilemma.
The Social Dilemma, is that what it is?
Something like that.
Yeah, their algorithms are absolutely wild. They know what you're gonna do before you do it. And even then, like, let's say you two have a Facebook account and I delete mine, they still can figure out that there is a person that you are talking to in between you two and build a profile around me with like 90% accuracy without me putting any information in. It's absolutely wild.
Right, Nick plus Mike equals Pat.
Pat. Yeah, but it's because the way
it's me.
It's like Nick and I will be in the same place as Pat, and it's like, oh, there's an IP address for a phone. Let me see what other data is associated with that IP address. Oh, look, it's Pat.
Hi, he's got a big rock.
That's in your metadata. It's just Pat. He's got
a big rock.
Do you guys ever look at your Google profile for like what they tag you for and like how
I've never seen
they serve your ads, and it like it's really cool to look, and it'll be like single, college educated. Like rock music. Yeah, it gives you all the things, that they think about you.
Lacks big whammon. Anyway,
I would love to see what Pat's is.
Me too.
Right now,
I tried to file for a Freedom of Information Act one time, and
FOIA?
I just couldn't figure out the process. So
you're now on a list.
So next we have the watches. All of the watches do the same shit across the board. But it's just what style or design do you want, and what are you willing to pay for, really? So the Apple Watch 8, which is, I believe this is the 6 I think I have, because I had a 2, so I upgraded to. It was time. Anyway,
I think I have a 4 or 5.
This one, the they're staying with the same pricing model. It's going to be $399. There's a new temperature system that not only can detect if you have a fever, but
it would be perfect for you, Pat.
It would have been, dude. And let me tell you something. When you have a fever, you don't need a fucking watch to tell you that you got a 102 fever. So the new temperature sensor is specifically geared towards women who are looking to procreate.
Again, I'm putting on my tinfoil hat. All of these apps and all these things that are tracking, now that we're repealing all of these things for women and their rights.
Mike, oh my God.
This is 100%, dude.
Literally
everybody was like, do not use like the period tracking apps because they sell your data. And then they're like, oh, you conveniently have missed a couple. Huh. Why'd you go to Planned Parenthood? What are you doing?
We know you were there. And we know based on your IP address, Pat was there too.
Pat? Nick plus Mike plus Planned Parenthood?
This is totally the SpongeBob meme where it's like sponge plus starfish equals clam.
Clam?
God damn it, Tim Apple! How could you do this to us?
Tim Apple.
So, that's the Apple Watch 8. Then we have the SE, which is the less expensive entry level, starting at $250. This also has the new low battery mode that doubles the battery life. It also these watches are coming with crash detection features. So if you get into a car accident, it will immediately alert 911. It's not like, if somebody shoves you, if somebody shoves you in the locker room or something, it's not going to call 911.
What if you like drop it?
What if you fall down the stairs?
I think it's supposed to be like a measure of G-forces and like the sudden stop and the impact of the crash. You know what I mean? Like,
what if you drop your phone off a roof?
I mean,
well, it's your watch.
It's your watch.
I forgot. I thought we were still on the phone.
I mean, if you throw yourself off the roof, you're kind of fucked. It doesn't matter if they call 911.
We detect you're falling. Should we call someone?
So, that watch starts at $249. Then they have the Apple Watch Ultra, which is I don't want to say it's the biggest size because I don't know what the biggest size is. I think this one I have on right now is like the current biggest model or whatever the fuck it is. Oh, this one's 44 millimeters. So yeah, then this one's 49. Right? Yeah, so it is the biggest one. Once again, this watch has a more precise GPS tracking unit. This is more for the outdoorsy type. And this one starts at $799. It's an expensive boy, for sure.
A really cool feature about what they're doing for the like iOS and these watches is that it'll do satellite emergency calling. Did you see that, Pat?
Yeah, I did. Dude, my God. How hilarious was that fucking commercial where it's like the two of them are stranded in the desert. Thank God I have this satellite it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Why do they think the average consumer is just out in the desert?
No, I mean,
it happens,
fair,
Pat.
To be fair, I was like, oh, that's a cool feature because like sat phones are so expensive and those other devices, like I would never just buy one because I don't go like hiking or camping enough that I would justify the purchase to have it. But it's like if I'm already having an Apple Watch or I'm having the phone, it's like adding this in, I think is a really cool incentive and a feature. So I'm fully supported for when I get lost in the desert.
Honestly, out of anyone here, you're probably the most likely one to get lost in some
Mike was just out in the fucking sand dunes like a couple of weeks ago.
I'd be dooning.
So then we have finally, which remember, boys, I was talking about this a few weeks ago, that they are definitely announcing a new pair of AirPods because all of the AirPod Pros they had massive sales on all of them, and they were more than willing to just give me a brand new pair when I took my old set in because they were shitty. So they announced the AirPod Pro 2. It starts at $250, same price as the regular ones. However, this has the new H2 chip with it, which enhances a low distortion audio driver and custom amplifiers. So they are actually changing, like that's the AirPod Pros, the first set, they have the same drivers as the regular AirPods and the AirPods 3 or whatever the fuck they are. So this change in distortion is actually a meaningful hardware upgrade. I mean, it still sounds awesome as it is though. And then, so there's this weird thing where you can use your front camera on your iPhone to create a custom like spatial audio profile. So I don't use Apple Music, so I don't really fuck with spatial audio. I usually use Spotify, so that it doesn't really support that tech. But I've heard if you use it with Apple Music, it's absolutely unbelievable.
It works with certain video softwares and like YouTube and everything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, because I'll occasionally be like watching, on my in like bed or whatever, and I'll put like my phone over here and I'll be like, do I have headphones in? Because I was like, this is now coming directly from like this side, and I get tweaked out every time.
Yeah,
I don't understand. Like, what's the purpose
Nick,
of
it's
this?
like having a
spatial
surround
audio.
sound in your ear.
Yeah.
So right, but I mean, why would you want, like, if you put the phone up, why would you want that?
It's a more haptic, like, engaging experience from like your intuitive sound and how you take it. Like, you'll do this and you'll turn and it'll only be in your right ear. It's
I also like to blind
immersive.
myself and put my AirPods in and then throw my phone somewhere and see if I can find it.
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo.
Hello.
So this also comes with improved active noise canceling, which is wild because I already thought the AirPod Pros had crazy active noise canceling, because it's so bad that you have to turn on a transparency mode that turns on microphones on the outside so you can hear the outside world. So I can't imagine how much more, like, when you put them in, is it just going to be like, ooh, like the entire time?
You're gonna hear your tinnitus. I'll wear them on the plane, and like a plane is just constant like whooshing and everything, and I'll do that and I'll put them on, and then it's like
yeah, exactly.
It's slurping.
It's like slurping a big dong. Anyway,
then I put it down my pants for a little bit.
So then we have battery life is also improved by 6 hours. I didn't feel like battery life was really a problem with the AirPods before, because I was never listening to music on full blast for 6 hours straight. But it is, but like I said, I mean, now I have to, right? So
that is going to be beneficial, because like I'll wear them like while I'm working occasionally. And like they'll start to die at a certain point during the day.
I will say this, on the plane we had a fly-fi from JetBlue, which, first of all, guys, I will never fly another airline that isn't JetBlue. It's a little bit more expensive, but you get so much more for your money. You get private TVs, all that shit's complimentary, and you get free Wi-Fi on board. So like you're still connected to the world at 30,000 feet. You're not just up there in an aluminum tube with all these fucking people you don't know. Like, I hope we don't die.
After that flight to and
that hour and a half flight to Portland, huh?
Yeah, that flight to Portland where I didn't have anything but my thoughts. I've become like a monk on a plane.
That's the other thing too. If my friends are like, we're talking about my I'm not gonna say but a bachelor party for next year, right? We're talking about that. And one of the things that we were discussing, because there are some members in the camp that do not wish to travel. However, I will not have that shit. We are getting on a plane to go wherever the fuck I want to go, right? And the other thing is, we are not flying Spirit Airlines. If you want to take your broke ass and get on Spirit Airlines and fly wherever the fuck we got, by all means. I'm an adult now. I'm not flying Spirit Airlines anymore.
I've never flown Spirit. I flew Southwest for the first time like 2-3 weeks ago. That was fucking horrible.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
Dude, they do not assign your seats. Did you know this? Like,
it's just a free for all.
Nick, it is literally like when it's whoever like checks in first.
First come, first serve.
No,
sorry,
it's like the fucking People's Express. It's like...
whoever checks in first.
We don't do that in movie theaters anymore. No. Like what?
You get a group number and then you get a number 1 to 60. So it's like if you check in instantly, you're probably like 20 something. And then you just file in like that. You can sit fucking wherever. And then like it was the most chaotic experience I've ever seen.
Hey, we got too many fatties at the back of the plane. Can we move up, please? We're never gonna get off the fucking ground.
I am a big proponent of. I know this will never happen, but I would love for airlines to move to outside in seating.
Oh, dude.
Outside in? I don't understand what you mean.
So you start at the back of the plane and all the window seats load in. So it's like back row, windows, middle, aisle. Next row,
I see what you're saying.
Windows, middle, and you just load in that way rather than boarding groups.
Yeah.
Because then it's like you get stuck behind one person loading their stuff into the...
okay, so what I've realized is that for whatever reason, these fucking animals, especially the ones that fly into New Jersey, like regular New Jersey people,
anybody in Newark,
anybody coming into Newark Airport, we have a disagreement already. Either way, when I came back on my flight, as soon as the seatbelt sign is off and we're at the gate, I always stand up first, get my bag, and I walk towards the front of the plane. Because I don't.
You're the problem.
No.
You're the problem.
No. There is no rule that says that I have to wait for fucking grandma 6 rows ahead of me to get her bag.
There's no
people in the front get out first.
You just make it a hassle for everybody.
So me and Liz are walking up to the front of the plane, and some guy deliberately gets in our way and like will not let us go through. So when we get,
that's when somebody's pulling into the shoulder, and somebody else like edges out and like no.
So like
I'm that person every time.
So
I'm like I adhere to the system.
So
Mike is about vigilante justice.
I was getting off the plane. Either way, I was getting off the plane, right? And the guy in front of me, right, who I already have a problem with, right? Because
he's alive.
Because he's alive, and he purposely was getting in my fucking way. And I was even willing enough to get the old lady in the left seat and get the family in their luggage out of the overhead just so I can get the fuck off the plane, right? Either way, this guy, I guess he dropped some shit or whatever, or like he stopped to like adjust whatever, and he stops right in the middle of the walkway, like when there's a line of people behind him. So I said, "Oh, excuse me," and I just go around him, and he goes, "Oh, what is there, a fucking award for getting off the plane first?" Like that. And I go, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" Like that. And Liz like, "Come on, let's go." Either way, though.
So Mike and I agree with that guy.
So
I would never be. I would if Pat was like behind me and said, "Excuse me," I would move. I wouldn't be like, "You gotta fucking have somewhere to go on."
So then Liz goes to the bathroom, and this guy walks past me, and he says something to me. I didn't hear what he said, like what the first thing was, but he said "punk," and I said to him, "Are you off the plane? Are you off the plane?" I was like, "Then get the fuck out of here!" Like that, like in Terminal A in New Jersey. In Newark International Airport.
You're traveling, right? You should just always anticipate that things are going to take fucking forever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm in no rush. The whole entire experience is going to be a pain in the balls. So just sit there and wait for the people to clear out of your fucking way. There's no rush. What's the rush?
Nah, man, you can't be at 30,000 feet in an aluminum tube with strangers and act like that's normal. It's not. Okay, I had to get out of there. Either way, though,
I understand that.
The point of the AirPods thing.
If you want to get out so quick, buy first class.
JetBlue doesn't have first class.
Well, then there's your problem.
So, no, because they treat everyone equally. Okay, there's not a fucking curtain class system. All right.
I agree with that, but I would like to try first class for once in my life.
At least once.
I was gonna say, but have you ever been in first class?
Never done it.
At least
before.
once. So the other.
Once you do it, you will never go back.
So the thing I wanted to mention though, specifically about the AirPods, was that I had my phone and my laptop on the plane because I was watching Pacific Rim. That was my plane movie. I chose that one.
What a shock.
My AirPods went in between them. Like I can just start using my phone and then go to TikTok, and my AirPods would be playing the audio from my phone. And if I went right back to my computer, it just I was like, "This is fucking great." This is why
you'll never accidentally blast porn out of anything.
And let me tell you something. I was worried about that. I was very worried about that.
It's great because I'll be working and then like I'll have it in and then I'll like I said,
switch porn on your phone.
Switch to Pornhub and I'm taking like a quick 10-minute nooner and then I gotta just don't even have to take the headphones out. And no one can hear me. I've got the sound cancellation.
But you are on a work call with your pants down.
With AirPods, with AirPods Pro 2, no one can hear you scream.
This is a new commercial for it.
No one can hear you moan.
Hold the moan. Oh. Anyway.
I'm just gonna say this since it's been a while. Cum gutters.
All right, it's there. We got it in. We got it in on the anniversary show. So, speaking of gutters, that was it for Apple, by the way. I'm very excited for all this. It all looks good. I'm definitely upgrading to the 14. I think it looks amazing. It's a meaningful upgrade for iPhones. The watch, I'll wait like another 2 years. It does all the same shit, and I really only need it for the heart monitor and like really like the temperature, and that's it. Like I don't really fuck with too many else.
You get it for the heart monitor, and Mike's gonna get it for when he's stranded in the desert.
Everybody's taking care of.
But I did want to bring up what we were talking about before we started recording.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, go ahead.
The Pixel Pass, which is a thing I just found out about. I'm the Pixel guy. just because I hate Apple. I hate them as a brand. I just found out the Pixel Pass, $45 a month. You get a subscription to YouTube Premium, YouTube Music Premium, Google Play Pass, which is games and apps with no fees, Preferred Care, 200 gigabytes of storage on the Google OneDrive, and an upgrade on your Pixel every 2 years, which this, as somebody who's bought into the whole Google ecosystem, I'm like, damn, I might do this, because I'm the kind of guy that gets a phone and has it for 5, 6, 7 years.
I tried doing that. I tried being like, because there was a doctor I worked with when I worked at the hospital in college. He had an iPhone 4 in like 2017.
That I don't know.
He was like, it still works, man. Why would I get rid of it? And you didn't realize how small those phones were. But
I don't understand how those phones still work. Like every phone I've had, like I treat my phones pretty well. I have a case, I have a screen protector. Like I'm not throwing them around, I'm not dropping them. There's just a point where they like wake up one morning and just shoot itself in the head, and they're like, "Good luck."
Honestly,
like, I think.
Mike, where's your tinfoil hat? I think you need it right now.
I think the day I was moving out of, might have been sophomore year. Like literally that day, the phone I had, its backlight just died. So like,
how
it could
the most
operate.
Inconvenient fucking failure.
And I take it to the place, and he's like, "Huh, we don't see this a lot." And I was like, "Yeah." Like, so what are we gonna do about it?
That'll cost you $700, or just get a new phone.
I got a new phone.
I was gonna be that guy. I was like, I did it with the X when the X came out. I got like the X Max or whatever, and I was like, I need this for like 5 years, no problem. And then the 12 came out, and that's when they started offering that deal for $800. And I was like, well, the longer I hold on to this, the less I get off on a new phone. So it's like actually holding on to my phone longer I'm going to pay more money for a new phone. So I might as well do it while it still holds its value. That was my rationale. So
it totally makes sense.
Because I agree. I don't need a new phone every year. But if you're going to give me half off and I get to get rid of my old device, why not? You know what I mean?
Well, I have noticed, so like my phone's, I take care of it. I've learned my lesson the hard way from like not having a screen protector for so long, and so I do all the stuff to make sure it's operating highly. But I have noticed that it's been starting just like when it gets to 12% battery, if I'm listening to a podcast or something, it just dies. I can turn it instantly right back on. It's fine. Or Snapchat for some reason just crashes it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's no, Nick, haven't had this.
That would be Snatch Chat. That is.
So yeah, Snatch Chat does that.
I don't know if you guys remember Snatch Chat, but that was my first app idea.
Remember.
I mean, it's no footish, but you know, it's pretty good.
Dude, I told him we got to work on that, and they already got something that would
already
stomp.
out there?
Oh yeah, they already got it already.
It would stomp the competition.
I think it's called Foot Finder or some shit like that.
Oh, I know about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you do,
pics.
Mike.
I do.
I do.
I watch it at work, Nick.
Turns out Mike quit his job years ago. He just put on Foot Finder.
And let me tell you something. It ain't hard to find them feet now. Anyway.
Paint my toes. They think it's a lady.
Okay, that I have very feminine feet. Anyway, so would we like to move on from this point, Nick? Are you good on your Pixel Palace there, buddy?
Feet.
Yeah, let's move on.
So, there was a little event this weekend. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of it. It's called Disney D23
football weekend of the year.
Nah, dude, I watched a little bit of the Giants Titans game, and after I watched Jones get sacked like the fourth time, I was like, all right, I'm done with it. It's still the same old Giants. I'm done. I'll just check the highlights.
Alexis and I went to dinner earlier. We were sitting on like an outdoor patio, and they had like the outdoor JBL speakers.
Mm-hmm.
We were nowhere near a television, but this speaker right near us was blasting that game. And I'm like, the music or something? It's like if I was near the TV or near the bar, it would make sense. But I had to sit there and listen to the Titans game.
Yeah, I wonder what the score is. I mean, I'm sure the Giants lost.
Well, yeah, we're switching gears. The podcast is now sports podcast.
Yeah.
Sportscast.
Honestly, a sports podcast by guys that don't know sports sounds like a great idea. Anyway.
Yeah, right?
So, D23 was this weekend, which if you don't know, which I'm sure you already do, D23 is Disney's basically their own Comic-Con, where they rent out the Anaheim Convention Center for 3 days. All the hotels fill up with people coming into town that want to get the exclusive first look at da-da-da-da-da. And they basically get to show off what they have coming up the next couple of years. So since Marvel Studios kind of has an obligation to like keep Comic-Con going at this point, it wasn't that big of a splash. However, we got some good stuff I'm looking forward to, and some stuff that I'm just like, fuck you, Disney. Fuck you right in the mouth. Anyway, so let's get started. You boys ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Right off the bat, number one, as we mentioned before, Hocus Pocus 2 had a trailer come out. I don't need to see the trailer. I watched the first one like 100 times when I was a kid, so I'll watch this one. I don't need to see a trailer for it. Plus, we have a good friend that did the VFX for it, so anything he makes, I'll watch. It doesn't even matter. There was some shit for Disenchanted, which I guess is like Enchanted 2. I don't know. Amy Adams is in it, and it looks
whole
like
crew's back.
Yeah, everybody's back. And,
James Marsden.
It just looks like Disney comedy fare. You know what I mean? Not everything can be enchanted forever.
I think the premise. I like this. Doesn't I watched the trailer for it and not really my kind of thing, but I do think the premise is good. She wishes for her world to be more like a fairy tale.
Yeah. And
she in the real world she's a stepmom, so now she transforms into an evil stepmother.
Yeah.
I'm like that's a cool premise, for
you really got a genie wish out of that shit.
Yeah, that's a monkey's paw right there.
Stepmom, what you doing? No, stepmom, please.
This isn't a fairy tale anymore.
Dad isn't home. Anyway, so the next thing on the list actually pissed me off. And normally I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, a movie got announced that I don't want to see. Go fuck yourself, said studio. But this one,
you mean me?
This one crossed the fucking line.
Wait, Mike, do you know what it could be?
I don't.
Guys, what is my favorite all-time Disney movie? You have to know this.
Moana.
Fantasia.
No, I'm sorry. It's neither of us.
Disney, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh no, Fantasia. I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
Is this Mufasa?
Yes, it is, Nick. It is Mufasa. These fuckers. First of all, the animated Lion King and the animated Aladdin are like two of them. Lion King a little bit more. Lion King's really like my favorite, and I think that is Disney's finest film. I really do believe that. And Aladdin is right up there with it. So when they did both of those live action remakes back to back in one summer, and they both were terrible, I wanted to fucking scream. That being said, the Lion King like remake, when I went to see it in IMAX 3D. They started the movie twice without it being in 3D, so I had to see The Circle of Life 3 times in a row, and I gotta be honest, I welled up on the second one, so I was like, all right, they got me. Then the rest of the movie played out, and I was like, fuck this. And I don't need to go into why they just ruined that whole fucking movie, but it's not hyperbole. I really genuinely believe they did not understand the essence of The Lion King to remake that movie, and the fact that it got such a negative reaction, and it wasn't, I think it made like $1 billion, so like it wasn't like a box office bomb or anything, but the fact that they were like, yeah, people really like that, so let's do a fucking prequel for Mufasa and call it Mufasa the Lion King. I was like, motherfucker.
I don't think it's that they thought everybody loved it. I think it's that they're just like, we just have to keep our intellectual property. We're just going to keep doing that over and over, buying up other beloved properties and making, rather than doing new, interesting, original stuff, let's just wring all this shit dry.
So there's no word if James Earl Jones is coming back, though. I mean, it doesn't matter, though, because they got his voice in an AI now.
That was saying.
Don't worry.
Yeah, they have his
about
voice.
These, like, the whole thing, and we'll get into it with Pinocchio, is just there's such a magic that gets stripped away when it's not animated.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. We'll talk about it more.
So, yeah, and just real quick, because I'm already on the topic. The fucking part of the movie, okay, in the animated live action, in the animated Lion King movie, when Simba finally accepts his responsibility to be the king that he always was meant to be, to finally go home, face his uncle, and save his pride. He's fucking running through the desert. They have the fades, the music, da-doo, da-doo, da-da. Like, it's all fucking...
Elton
it's like,
John is
this
just
is
going wild.
This is... He set his piano on fire. This is the character moment. This is where Simba, he accepts his destiny, and he goes to live it out. In this fucking movie... They had the fucking Beyonce song playing that she recorded for this Lion King. And instead of Simba just running home to accept his responsibility, Nala is with him and is like talking in his fucking ear the entire time while they're blasting this Beyonce song. I remember sitting there going, they missed the whole fucking point of this character. They missed the whole point. And the other thing is that Beyonce also sucks too in that movie, which is weird because she's really good in Dreamgirls. So, like... It's awful. It's awful. It's goddamn
awful. She was
awful.
great in Goldmember.
She was great as Goldmember. She was great in Goldmember.
Guys.
She was fucking incredible in Goldmember.
We talk about that instead of Pinocchio, honestly.
So, then we actually got a trailer for The Little Mermaid live action remake. Apparently, it's gonna have 4 new songs, and they're being co-written together by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Alan Menken.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, I don't need that. I don't need it. I'm sorry. It's just gonna be like, I don't need,
Did you guys see the trailer at all? Did you guys see it at all?
I did.
I don't think the VFX are done yet, obviously, but it looks a little dark, and not like story-wise, not content-wise. I'm talking like literally the image.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people were saying like, why is this so undersaturated?
Yeah, it should be super saturated, like
The Little Mermaid.
Like I thought that's the whole thing.
Green, like it should be.
Now
punching you in the face.
Now here's the deal. Are they removing Kiss the Girl?
That's a good question.
Because that song is kind of iffy now. You know what I mean? It's not exactly a song that Ariel can consent to. You know what I mean?
I think at this point they've done so many of these movies. They've like taken out songs and added in new songs. They don't even have to give a reason. Like they could just be like, yeah, well, it didn't make the cut. We're putting in 4 new songs.
Yeah, it's kind of like
come out with a goddamn banger to replace that.
You know what they do? They role reverse it.
It's the guy.
Yeah.
Suck the dick. Suck the dick. Anyway,
and it's like one of his it's like one of the people he knows on a ship, just like talking about. He's like, "Yo, it's just you gotta kill." That's the Lin-Manuel Miranda track. It's just one of his friends rapping about how he has to kiss Ariel.
So the other thing about, we've seen them do this before, where they take and change songs. Because going back to that Lion King remake, they took out "Be Prepared" because of all the Nazi imagery. But I thought that's the whole fucking point, is to show you how well armed Scar is and how fucking delusional he is.
That'd be like taking the stormtroopers out of Star Wars.
I know, it doesn't make any point.
That's the point. They're the bad guys.
And listen, I get it. It's not great optics to have goose-stepping hyenas. I understand. But also at the same time, it's a fucking banger, bro. It's a banger of a track. Like,
it is an incredible song.
And the fact that who's
Jeremy
Irons and Jim Cummings sing the song in both parts. But I think, Nick, until I pointed it out to you, you couldn't even tell, right? That Jim Cummings sings the higher part because his notes are in
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, he's the voice actor for Winnie the Pooh, because Jeremy Irons either he couldn't do it or he got sick. What was it?
No, he just doesn't have that in his range. So
doesn't have his range.
He couldn't do the Scar voice in that and sing those notes. So they're like, hey, what's Winnie the Pooh doing? So they hit him up, and he was like,
go back and listen to it. If you
I just killed Piglet, so let's record a track.
So
you can tell when you like deliberately listen for it.
Yeah,
there's a point where you're like, that's Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
he's mad now.
I just wanted to point out, I pulled up when we were talking about Beyonce. I pulled up her IMDb just because I was like, I wanted to see what her filmography is, and it's so hard to look at because it's just like every one of her music videos is listed, and it's like the page is enormous, and it's like I just want to see her movie roles.
You can sort by movie now.
Yeah, but it's like soundtrack, actor or like performance or some shit.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. Oh Jesus Christ!
There's a dog here.
Whose dog is that?
Emily's dog.
Oh.
Whose dog is
I like you're like, there's a dog here. I was like, okay, well, whose dog then? Like,
just let himself in.
Call somebody.
Call somebody, dude. There's somebody lost their fucking dog. Then we had this first look at this movie coming out with Pixar called Elemental, which is about a fire person and like a water person who fall in love, but they can't ever be like, they can't be intimate because
Romeo and Juliet.
They'll turn to rocks. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think either of those people turned to rocks.
They'll turn to cobblestone.
Yeah, they died.
yeah, they didn't make it very far.
They died. It's a bomb.
There's also an animated series called Win or Lose that follows a softball team during a tumultuous season. It's revealed that Will Forte is playing Coach Dan. So, and I mean, the way they list Will Forte's old credits is his comedy series MacGruber and Last Man on Earth. I was like, I'm so glad that you listed MacGruber, because how many kids are gonna go seek that out and then see the fucking celery trick? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So then we have
But I just pulled up some of the images from Elemental. The animation style looks pretty awesome.
It does.
Actually.
It does. I gotta be. I mean, Pixar always wows me. What was the last Pixar movie that we saw? Oh, Lightyear. That was one of those ones that we said was really solid, but it didn't have that Pixar magic.
Yeah,
I feel like these
blah.
coming down are gonna have that spritzing of.
Did they do that movie Strange Worlds? Did that come out yet?
I have no idea.
I don't even know about that.
Yeah, it was weird because the whole the marketing campaign was just like, it was like, see these strange worlds, and it was like a 50s
right.
like film strip.
It comes out in November, Nick.
It just like, it's the most, if you watch the ads, it seems like the most nothing movie you've ever seen, and it feels like totally out of touch with Pixar's sensibilities.
Well, we haven't even gotten to Disney animation yet. Let me tell you something. Those boys, not only did they hit the bottom of the barrel, they are digging beneath it right now for ideas. So first up, there's a sci-fi movie called Elio about extraterrestrials coming out. It's about an 11-year-old boy who makes friends with aliens with the local kids.
Jimmy
Neutron, that's right. So then there's this other thing. Pixar confirmed in 2018, after Incredibles 2 came out, that they actually weren't working on any sequels. Turns out that is untrue, because Inside Out 2 was officially announced. Bill Hader and Mindy Kaling are not coming back, though, because they got offered $100,000 just to, read lines for 3 days, and apparently that wasn't enough. So they said that they're not coming back, and they made that public too. So it clearly was a falling out between them and the studio.
How much is Amy Poehler getting paid?
I mean, probably a lot more. I think, I don't know how to say this name. Is Iwaju? Iwaju is it's a teaser image. It's just an animated movie coming out about a family in Nigeria. I'm not sure there's not really any more data on that. So then here's the bottom of the barrel. You guys ready for this? Disney announced a new animated film called Wish coming in 2023. It is literally about the fucking star that all of these characters wish upon to have their dreams come true, and how that star became so magical.
Where it gains its power. Where did Han Solo get his magic dice?
It literally just feels like Kingdom Hearts. That's all this feels like at this point. Like
Ariana DeBose and Alan Tudyk are said to be
Ariana DeBose.
What'd you say? What?
Say it again, Mike. We didn't catch that.
What about Alan 3 Dick?
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Sorry. I'm usually good with 2. 3, I can't anything past 2. I'm like, it's too much. It's too much. There was an amazing Twitter thread about all these fake movies that Disney has announced after this whole Wish thing came to fruition, I guess you could say.
Fruition?
Where is it? It is absolutely amazing. Oh, I can't wait to see this. Why is Goofy allowed to live a full life while I sleep in a doghouse starring Pluto? Then we have Kevin Feige has officially announced that the state funeral for Queen Elizabeth will be an 8-episode series on Disney Plus with Colin Farrell returning as Bullseye.
Jesus Christ.
Damn, you get more episodes than fucking Loki season 1.
Oh, also, so they did announce that Snow White was getting a remake as well.
Live action.
Gal Gadot is playing the evil queen, and
that'll be interesting.
Rachel Ziegler, I believe her name is. She was in hey, we're snapping West Side Story. That's the one.
We're snapping.
She's from New Jersey. They held open auditions on Twitter. 30,000 people submitted songs. Steven Spielberg handpicked her to be in the movie. They shot it in Patterson. And she's from.
Oh, you're talking about West Side Story?
Yeah.
I was like, what is Steven Spielberg doing with fucking Snow White?
What was he doing?
Either way, though, there is an interview, and if we were in studio, I would pull it up for you guys. But there is an interview where Gal Gadot is asked, like, do you think we could see you in the MCU in the future? And all she did was smile at the camera because she has definitely signed a contract that she can't talk about yet.
Dude.
And everyone was like, oh my God, our new biggest fear, Gal Gadot might be Mrs. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman.
Why would that be a biggest fear?
Because we don't get
because
to
Gal
see her,
Gadot
Nick.
can't fucking act, dude. Like, she's good as Wonder Woman, but she's really not a great actress. She's gotten better for sure, but at the same time,
I definitely I haven't seen her enough outside of the Justice League movies, which I don't think is fair to judge her based off of those fucking train wrecks of movies.
I mean, fair enough. Either way, though,
it's like they didn't give her a lot to work with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. No, I get that. I mean, the first Wonder Woman's great. There was let's see. Let me try and find this this thread real quick with these fucking movies on it because it's absolutely amazing.
While you're looking at that, just as a little note too, like for Wish, jumping back to that, it's Disney's 100th anniversary,
I found it.
And that's why
yeah,
with like this kind of like red thread theme.
Yeah, so, okay, here we go. So first we have Walt Disney Animation Studios has revealed the first look at Flight, their all-new animated feature film that explores how that iconic carpet gained its powers, and it's the carpet from Aladdin.
Yeah.
Then we have...
Wait, I don't know if you're joking or not right now.
Disney and Pixar revealed a first look at Ball, their new animated feature that explores the iconic rubber ball from Pixar and how it gained its powers.
Honestly, I would watch that if it was a short.
Walt Disney Animation Studios has announced the first look at Steam, their all-new animated feature that explores the Willie's iconic steamboat gained its powers. Then there's stuff like The Forging of Mjolnir, Strange Magic 2, Liz, High School Musical, the series, the reality competition. There's one called just says Wares, and it's a 10-episode Disney Plus series that explores how the iconic Waldo gained his powers. And then my personal favorite, Walt Disney Animation Studios finally announced their new animated feature called Song of the North, and they're really hoping to make everyone forget that the other one exists.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was awesome.
What I may be skipping ahead, but
skipping.
Oh no, I think it was actually a Marvel thing, but it didn't feel like that like werewolf within.
Oh, okay, I'll get to that.
Okay, cool.
Werewolves in London?
Let's just do the video games real quick because there was nothing on the bone here. Like it was actually pathetic. So first things up, Tron Identity is a puzzle-based visual novel. I guess that's coming out. Puzzle-based gameplay and visual novel storyline where the player makes crucial decisions. I feel like this is a game that Mike would really like.
I was about to say that's like the two worst things I could.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Is this who's making it?
Me.
You are. Is this fucking Telltale Games?
It's out of spite.
So then we have Disney Illusion Island announced as a Nintendo Switch exclusive. The Nintendo Switch got its own exclusive title with Disney Illusion Island, a 2D platformer starring Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy. Look at that. Four characters that if they were in a game, I would truly give a shit about. Not like another game that got announced with 4 characters that we only care about 2. The title seems to imply that it's a spiritual successor to Mickey's Castle of Illusion, the classic NES title that also happens to be a 2D platform. I literally just played it on my emulator like a few weeks ago. Either way, the fluid animation style and the fast-paced gameplay looks like an absolute blast, and the announcement will certainly be one of the show's highlights. It looks good. I like it. Looked good. I mean, like it looks like something that I could, buy Liz and get her away from me for a weekend. Anyway, so then there was a new gameplay trailer and release date for Marvel's Midnight Suns. Now remember, this is one that we've been watching for a while. This is in the same vein as XCOM or Mario Rabbids, where it's very much RPG, turn-based style combat.
Okay.
They have showcased. It's been in the works for some time. It's coming December 2nd, I believe, the day before the Callisto Protocol is coming. And the featured, I saw some. They have some. I don't know if they're original characters, but I've never heard of them before. And then they have like Blade, Wolverine, Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, and a couple other ones. And obviously more characters will be added through DLC. But it looks good, and like I really liked Mario Rabbids, and I'm really not into turn-based RPGs. Besides for what's the South Park games? Stick of Truth and the Fractured Butthole.
Oh, yeah. Truth and the Fractured Butthole.
I played both of those games, and I like the turn-based RPG style combat in those as well. There's some mobile game bullshit that I'll never play. There's another mobile like Marvel card game. Aliens Dark Descent is a tactical RPG in the same vein as like Gears. Have you guys seen
Aliens Dark Descent?
Yeah, it's like another I don't want to say it's like XCOM because or in the same vein.
The name is what's that other game? Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
The Dark Descent.
You're thinking of Gears Tactics, Pat?
That's the one. Thank you. It's kind of like that, where it's more like an RTS sort of. You position your guys on the field, and they all, it's that type of shit, as opposed to turn-based. You know what I mean? So, another one, Nick, right up your alley. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
Oh, fuck you.
Got a shout out. In addition to the top secret Star Wars project that Ubisoft is working on, an open world game set in the Avatar universe. We've seen a trailer for this before.
Just the Lego Star Wars. That's what this is.
There's no new gameplay was shown at the showcase, but details were revealed that the open world adventure will take players into the western part of Pandora, which has yet to be seen in the upcoming films. And by the way, Nick, they started production on Avatar 4. It started this weekend.
Don't even wait for the audience's reception to 2.
Nah, dude, they spent a lot of money on that.
Yeah, Ubisoft is doing the Frontiers of Pandora. By the way,
the game does look good.
Yeah. Listen, we
from
just
the stills,
got. I know everyone shits on Ubisoft because they're like, all they do is make open world games. All they do, right? And they recycle the same thing. I don't know if you guys have checked out the reboot of Saints Row at all. If you've seen any gameplay footage at all. But when that game came out, it got shit on by critics because it was super dated. And Ubisoft has steadily been raising our expectations on open world games incrementally over the years, that there's so much that we are accustomed to now that if open world games do not have those things anymore, we do not consider them current, you know what I mean, or modern. So
you're saying it's our fault,
or it's too hard, like Elden Ring, where you need to be handheld.
Yes, and kind of my point here is that Saints Row getting released and getting shit on so much actually gave Ubisoft a lot of goodwill, and they just announced fucking 3 Assassin's Creed games this weekend that are all coming 2023, 2024, and 2025. So I think it's like Mirage, which is in Baghdad. There's Hex during the Salem witch trials. And there's Code Red, that's what it's called right now, for feudal Japan. And then they have this one coming. What'd you say?
Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew. And then they have this one coming in the future called Assassin's Creed Affinity, which is supposed to be an open world, massive MMORPG in the style of Assassin's Creed that you and all your buddies can play. There are also Assassin's Creed Mirage is going to go back to the old style of gameplay. It will not be a 150-hour RPG. Assassin's Creed Japan is going to be in the style of the new RPGs, but it will not be 150 hours long. They said it's way too long. And Infinity is supposed to be a mishmash of the two. So I'm really looking forward to those, and I'm looking forward to Avatar Frontiers of Pandora because, honestly, 2 open world games came out this year, and One of them was Elden Ring that had its own style, and it was absolutely wonderful. And then there was Saints Row that tried to emulate everything that Ubisoft does, and they just weren't up to the task. So I'm very excited to get good open world games again, and Ubisoft delivers on that.
I think the one thing that I want to say about the Avatar world, it's like, I don't really give a shit about the movies, but I do think the world would be fun to explore first, playing in and getting to be a part of the world.
I just want to kill avatars.
Yeah, I just want to kill the Na'vi.
Yeah, right.
You get to play as the
Stephen Lang,
the U.S. government, right?
Yeah. Do I get to have a mech that I just like walk around and shoot?
So then there's the new Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga DLC characters were announced. There's a bunch of people like Cassian Andor, Reva, Captain Rex, stuff like that. Return to Monkey Island featurette. I'm getting Return to Monkey Island. It comes out.
Have you played any of the other Monkey Islands?
Fuck no. There's
You can't return to it, Pat.
The swashbuckling adventure will arrive on PC, Nintendo Switch, September 19th, 2022. So this week, actually, it's coming out. The SNES title Gargoyles is getting a remaster. Looking forward to that. So then
does it have anything to do with the cartoon show?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's the exact
same thing. So Hades and other Disney villains were announced for a game called Disney Mirrorverse. So Disney Mirrorverse launched not too long ago on mobile devices and already gained a following thanks to its, epic like redesigns of popular characters. And then a new CG trailer just showed off like Oogie Boogie, Ursula, Hades, and a bunch of new playable characters. I'm not into this, but it looked cool. So, if anyone wants to try that out, by all means, go for it.
Yeah, this is one of the things where, like you said, they're really redesigning a lot of characters and taking some liberties of like classic outfits and stuff, that it's getting like a good amount of, it's getting positive reaction.
I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have Monsters Inc. Is coming to Disney Speedstorm. Now, I didn't even know that this was around. So, if Multiverse, what our good friends at Collider are saying right now, which by the way, they have a not secure site, so I can absolutely get into the back end of this thing if you give me long enough. Anyway, if Multiverses is Warner Brothers' answer to Super Smash Brothers, Disney Speedstorm is their answer to Mario Kart. It's a free-to-play kart racer, which is currently accepting beta test applicants. Already have fan favorites like Mulan, Jack Sparrow. I saw Mickey in there. Mike and Sully and the gang for Monsters are joining the race soon, pretty much. But either way, it looks like fun. It looks like a fun kart racer. And if it's on PC and it's free to play, I don't see why we don't try it out. Like, it looks like a lot of fun. And you guys know me. I fucking love Mario Kart. So,
did you guys ever play Walt Disney World Magical Racing Tour for like PlayStation 1? Do you remember that?
No.
Vaguely.
It was like think of the Crash Bandicoot games, the Crash Bandicoot Racing, Crash Team Racing. It was exactly like that, but it was with like Disney characters and through like different Disney World tracks.
Yeah, I do kind of remember that now. This is kind of in the same vein, I believe.
Yeah.
So, Disney Dreamlight Valley came out, by the way. I don't know if anyone's gonna try it out. It's Animal Crossing with Disney. There's a new open world mobile MMO, Avatar Reckoning, was announced for mobile devices. But I just want to skip to the real meat and potatoes of this presentation, boys. We had talked extensively on this podcast that Amy Hennig is one of the greatest game developers ever to have walked the planet. She did the first 3 Uncharted games, and I do not know the official story. However, it seemed that while she was working on Uncharted 3, The Last of Us 1 had dropped, I believe, or it was the other way around. Either way, The Last of Us doing so well actually upped Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann's status at Naughty Dog. So when they were working on Uncharted 4, Amy Hennig was actually forced off of the project because they wanted Bruce and they wanted Neil to head every game that they were doing now, because The Last of Us brought up Naughty Dog's profile so much, and it also changed the game industry as we know it. So she moved on from Naughty Dog, and she went on to work. Now, listen, there are that this is not confirmed. This is just speculation. It could have been that she was just didn't want to do Uncharted 4 anymore, and they moved him over. She saw an opportunity. Either way, she founded a new game studio called Skydance Interactive, I believe it's called, and she is writing and directing a untitled Captain America and Black Panther game set in World War II during like the height of the Nazi regime. And it is said to be in the same style as the Uncharted games. Let me tell you, boys, I was fucking hyped.
Dude,
I was
it's gonna be cool.
So hyped. So, couple of things around this that are kind of weird, though. Number one, obviously, it's Steve Rogers. He's going to be 19, I think they said, which is weird because he's 25 canonically during World War II, but whatever. They're going to have Black Panther, but I believe it's Azuri. It's his great-grandfather, or his grandfather, rather. It's T'Challa's grandfather is going to be Black Panther. And then there's one Howling Commando, and then there's one, it looks like Dormelage, that will also be playable characters. Why the fuck didn't they get like Wolverine and like another Marvel character from, you know what I mean? And listen, this is not a hot take. Twitter has just been like, yeah, who the fuck is gonna play as these other people? Like, so you couldn't
do like Bucky or something.
That's what I heard. I heard Bucky and Wolverine were the two like obvious ones. Like, because in the comics, Wolverine and Captain America, served in World War II together. So apart from
back though with all the X-Men still.
We'll get to that later.
For sure.
Well, as far as like, there's no gameplay details besides where it's in the style of Uncharted. There's not even a title revealed. That being said, though, the CGI trailer did look cool, and if that's the type of tone and vibe that they're going for, I'm all in. I am all in on this shit. I mean, like I said, Amy Hennig has made one of my favorite games of all time. That was Uncharted 2. And I can't imagine a better person to be in charge of this game going forward. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
And then last but not least, boys, time to get out those mobile devices, because Marvel World of Heroes was announced from the creators of Pokemon Go. And that's right, Niantic is back, boys, and they are doing more for childhood obesity than Michelle Obama did in 8 years, because they are getting kids out there and they are
walking around,
staring at their screens. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
It's just an AR augmented reality based mobile game centered around heroes, Marvel titled Marvel World of Heroes. It didn't give anything away. It's just got a lot of the gameplay ideas from Pokemon Go. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much it.
I'm gonna catch like 15 Captain Americas.
I don't think it's like that.
No.
I don't think it's very good optics to be putting people in fucking cages. Like, just all I'm saying is that maybe it's not the best idea. So we're just gonna keep moving around because we're not short on time, but I want to make sure that we have time to talk about Little Wooden Boy. Anyway, so then here was Marvel and Lucasfilm, and this was really the most upsetting because my God, first of all, they debuted a new Andor trailer. I don't need a new trailer. We're already watching the show. And I got to be honest, it does look fantastic. I didn't know that Stellan Skarsgård was in this. He looks great and he sounds great. Like, you know how like some actors, they go from movie to movie and sometimes they look like they're in a good place in life, and then other movies are like, fuck, man. This is one of the
fucking Dune.
Yeah. This is one of those movies where it's like, oh, okay. All right, he looks good. Like, let's do it. Like, he looks all right. They built real sets. They used film, like, as opposed to digital. Like, they really went for it. And like we said, the seasons are 12 episodes long. So that's really something that I'm looking forward to, because our biggest critique was the 6-episode structure on the Disney Plus shows, besides for the poor writing. So then there is was a Willow trailer was released. I'm not sure if you guys know what Willow is. Nick, I feel like this is something that you would know for sure.
Nope.
So Warwick Davis is back, and he's portraying a character known as Willow, which apparently was like a sorcerer or whatever. I didn't see the original movie. It was a Lucasfilm movie made in like the fucking 80s. Okay. and basically like it's some like high level fantasy shit, like super duper, like you gotta read the fucking compendium.
It's like Lord of the Rings type stuff,
type of deal. But I mean, it looks good, and I feel like if you like the Dark Crystal, Nick, I feel like you and like Labyrinth, this would really be up your alley. It's in that same vein.
Well, let's get it.
Maybe we'll watch it. Yeah.
Bad Batch season 2 got a release date. I mean, I don't really fuck with animated Disney Star Wars. So is Tales of the Jedi.
Okay, I do want to talk about Tales of the Jedi.
Yes, go for it.
And like, I just want to preface it by, Bad Batch. After 2 episodes, I was like, this is not for me. This is too kiddie. But Tales of the Jedi, I might give it a try just because I'm interested to see like young Count Dooku and young Qui-Gon Jinn. They brought back Yaddle.
I saw Yaddle.
There's a Yaddle battle.
Battle.
A little Yaddle battle. So I am interested in watching Tales of the Jedi.
Yes, I would like to see it as well.
Cool.
There was an update on Ahsoka. They're not done. They have a couple more months left of shooting it, but basically they say it's going well and they really like it. To me, it sounds like they're writing it as they go, and that's why there's such delays.
We all know that's the way to do it with Star Wars. Just keep writing as you go.
There was a Skeleton Crew update, with the Jude Law show. I forgot about
totally
that one.
Totally forgot
about that one.
Didn't remember that was a thing.
Mandalorian season 3 had a release date and trailer, so it seems that it will debut February 2023. Also, Babu Frick is going to be in the show, and he's on screen. And if he's on screen with Grogu, I might just fucking explode. Like
your ovaries might explode.
So, sadly, we had an Indiana Jones 5 update.
Okay, so did you? He got all welled up and he got real happy about it, and that made me happy.
I'm just glad Harrison Ford has some glimmer of happiness left in these last glory years of his life.
Did you see that photo? I don't know how to say his name, but the guy who played Short Round. Have you seen the picture?
Yes.
He's hugging Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford looks genuinely happy.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Which is hysterical because he was not into it for the
well, I loved how there's this one interview. You guys can look it up if you want, where Harrison Ford gets asked, "So who shot first? Was it Han or Greedo?" And he just looks at the interviewer and goes, "I don't give a fuck who shot first," or like, "I don't care." Like, Harrison Ford does not give a shit about Star Wars, but Indiana Jones though, he's extremely passionate about, because really, like, that's his bread and butter. Like, Han Solo obviously was like, that, don't get me wrong, that's a huge pillar of his career. There's no doubting it. But Indiana Jones was like that out of the two. Out of Han Solo and India, sometimes it's hard to choose between the two. But I really feel like Indiana Jones was really his vehicle with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he was integral to Star Wars, and he's awesome in those movies. But this is the one where I really feel like this is his legacy. Like, if people are like, totally what Harrison Ford movie should I watch from his glory days? I'll be like, fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark. That one immediately. That's the first one you should watch. So, the interesting thing about this, I think we've gone over it before, is that James Mangold is directing this film, and that he did say that this is the last time that Indiana Jones... Harrison Ford claims this is the last time Indiana Jones will be on screen. It's not.
I would love for this to be like a James Bond type series and just pass it down.
Yes. Because that means I could be Indiana Jones in like 10 years.
There is a world where it is a slim chance.
There is a timeline out there where Harrison Ford passes Indiana Jones down to Pat Navarrete.
You can take solace in that there's a version of you out there.
There's a version of me that has everything he ever wanted.
Dude, honest to God, when I was like that, I took a gap year between high school and college, and I was pursuing acting. One of my legit goals was to be. I'm like, I know they're gonna do a Han Solo movie. I want to be Han Solo. And looking back now, I'm glad that never happened, because that movie was a piece of shit.
You
think
been
so?
Shia LaBeouf.
I think out of all the fucking anthology movies they've done, that's the best one.
Rogue One.
Okay, I mean that's good. I mean I think that one
Rogue One
is
good. Much. I mean I don't want to go back and relitigate Han Solo, but there are a lot of flaws.
I really like what's her face? I was in Game of Thrones. Dragon Lady. Amelia Clark. There you go. That's the one.
Yeah. You should have said help. There's dragons.
Help. There's dragons. Speaking of which, House of the Dragon just started. Anyway, so James Mangold, he's directing this film. And the reason why they picked him, and I think it's, to cap off the series and everything, is he directed Logan, which was an amazing swan song to a 17-year-long career as Wolverine, done so well that you ask 9 out of 10 Marvel fans, they're like, just don't do Wolverine again. Just don't give it like,
don't touch it.
Give it like another 10 years to do Wolverine.
Yeah, 10, 15
years. Please, like Hugh Jackman was too fucking perfect. Like, it's just not worth it. So that's why they got him for this one, and that's why I'm like, oh, Indy's gonna die. And let's be real, if they ever do another Indiana Jones, it will not be a man. Okay, like they're setting it up. I'm pretty sure it's his granddaughter or some shit in this one that he doesn't know it's his granddaughter or something. Like, but either way, there is I forget her name. She is a wonderful actress, and she is playing what's it called? She is she's playing his successor or whatever.
Spanx Wigginbottom.
Spanx Wigginbottom.
I'm gonna take over for him later.
There we go. Also really weird, they started the Marvel Studios D3 presentation with a live performance of Steve Rogers the musical from Hawkeye.
Oh my god, that's great.
Right into a Wakanda Forever update. So basically Ryan Coogler he just confirmed that he's still in the edit bay and he's still figuring out the best cut of the movie. He said he's the rest of the world is trying to capitalize on Wakanda's resources while the country is at its weakest, and they're saying that so vaguely, and I'm going to go ahead and finish that quote because T'Challa is dead. That's definitely why. And apparently the exclusive footage saw Queen Ramonda attempting to face off other countries' growing curiosity into Wakanda's vibranium supplies. So it's like, all right, like fucking, we got the colonizers out of here for centuries, and we said we were in 2 movies, and now they all want to come here. You know what I mean? Like
Queen Elizabeth dies, and now we got this fucking Charles is at it.
He's doing it.
There was
you want to talk about Zach Panther, Pat? Because I don't think Nick knows.
I mean, it was just a tweet, right? It was a Henry Cavill or some shit.
People were doing like leaks, and it was like Henry Cavill as T'Challa's like long lost cousin Zach Panther.
I just saw one guy retweet it and was like, "I'm so fucked up right now. This is the funniest thing in the world." It's like, yeah, it is funny.
It's hysterical.
So there was an Ironheart update. Ryan Coogler is executive producing the series, which just means that he's paying for everything. They debuted the exclusive trailer. We cannot see it. They finally confirmed though that Anthony Ramos is playing the Hood, which we already knew, but still it's nice to make things official. Like they've seen pictures of him on set and whatever. And basically the character's described as a complex guy who kicks a lot of ass. And apparently, the series will be about a clash between magic and tech. Interesting. I like that. And thankfully, it's not 6 episodes. So, we had an Ant-Man 3 update. We had like a plot update, which I really like too. So it turns out that in this movie, they're going back to like, you know how every single Ant-Man movie is like a heist movie, like that's how they portray them. In this particular version, which sounds incredible, Scott and God, what's her name? The I know it's Evangeline Lilly, but Hope
Van Dyne.
Hope Van Dyne. Hope and Scott have to go on a quantum time heist type of deal in the quantum realm for Kang, because Kang is holding Cassie Lang hostage from Scott. And I don't know where this quote is from. I think it's from a trailer or maybe some footage they saw, but apparently the quote is Kang meets Ant-Man and says to him, "Oh, you're an Avenger? Have I killed you before?" So like this movie is the jumping off point for Kang in the MCU. Like, he will be heavily involved from that point on all the way up to Secret Wars. So, then we had Werewolf by Night.
So confused by that.
So random.
Yeah, at a left field here.
That being said,
what does it have to do with Marvel? Like, is it just?
I think it's just a special.
Book?
It's a special presentation. Michael Giacchino, whatever, who did the music for the Batman and many other. He's directing this.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, the composer
of the Batman is directing this, and I'm trying to see. There's a trailer and it's all in black and white, and there was a brief glimpse of Man-Thing, and like everybody flipped their shit. We could not believe what the fuck was going. Like, they're putting Man-Thing in the MCU. What the fuck? Like, it was one of those moments. And then of course 10 minutes later the tweets, how are they gonna fuck up Man-Thing, huh? How are they gonna fuck up Man-Thing?
Where's this going?
Where are they going? Gonna make this fucking SJW garbage, huh? So yeah, it looks good. I believe it comes out like end of September, October. Let me just check real quick.
October would make sense.
Yeah, it should, because of
spooky time.
Spooky time. Werewolf spooky.
Let's see. October 7th.
There you go.
All right, there we go.
So
kicking off spooky season.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we'll definitely talk about it on this show because it looks awesome. So then we have the Secret Invasion trailer, which is Nick Cage, Emilia Clarke, some other familiar faces. I believe Martin Freeman is in the show.
Nick Cage?
Oh.
You did say Nick Cage.
Nick Fury and
Nick Fury, as portrayed by Samuel Jackson. Well, I gotta be honest, whoever wrote this fucking Collider article put Nick Cage down as well. Okay?
Okay.
No shit.
So they have a phony writing for him. Anyway, a big fat phony. Anyway,
Big fat phony.
So Nick Fury, Sam Jackson's coming back as Nick Fury in the MCU for the first time in like what? How many years? The last one he was in was in Age of Ultron. Oh no. He was in
Wasn't he in there for a hot minute?
He was in Everyone Hates Me. I just
Marvel?
There we go. That's the one.
Was he in Scarlett Johansson's at all? Black Widow? Was he in there for a hot minute?
I do not believe so. You know that there's rumors, not rumors. I've seen the stills. I don't know if they're real, but there is like supposedly a scene on the cutting room floor where she meets up with Stark behind everyone's back and like debriefs with her and everything. Like, you know how like she basically changes sides by shooting Black Panther, you know what I mean? And keeping him from Bucky and Cap getting on the plane. Apparently in her movie, they were supposed to remedy that, like her relationship with Stark, by showing a flashback where like after those events and like she went on the run with Steve, she actually meets up with Tony somewhere like in a private plane. I don't know. I think the reason they shit canned it though was because it's just it cheapens the death.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
you don't want to have
like, don't get me wrong.
Anything with him after.
Like, listen, do not get me wrong. RDJ and Chris Evans will be back. There's no way Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars is going to happen and they're not showing up. But I'm glad that they're just like, let's just put them on the bench for like 6 years and then we'll get them back out. You know what I mean? Like, and listen, those two guys were the face of the MCU for over a decade, and we see how not having them around and not having a figurehead, it kind of struggles a bit.
100%.
What do you mean, Doctor Strange?
I mean, yes, Doctor Strange was good, but it wasn't. It's not.
I'm joking.
His cape is, Nick.
So there was
Wong,
Armor Wars.
Wong actually should
Wong
be.
is the current head of.
He's the MVP.
The MCU.
So there was an Armor Wars update. It was just John Cheadle saying that Armor Wars is taking place after Secret Invasion, and that the story centers around his responsibility to keep Tony Stark's tech from falling into the wrong hands post his death. You know what I mean? And like a promise to Pepper and shit like that. There's no talk of what cameos will be around, but I have to imagine Gwyneth Paltrow will be in some capacity, maybe on like a Zoom call or something. Happy Hogan has to be in that shit. And a part of me, just a small part of me, thinks that Spider-Man might show up. You know what I mean? This is all Stark-centric stuff, so...
I was going to say that.
Well, I mean, they did kind of end the last Spider-Man with, okay, he's no longer got all his Stark tech. He's just wearing just a Lycra suit.
Man, it's cold in here. Maybe he goes to Stark, or he goes, hey, do you guys remember me?
They don't.
We don't,
Can I have this suit with the heater again?
You can't.
So then there was a Loki season 2 announcement that Ki Hu Kwan, I believe, is he is short round. He's joining the cast in an undisclosed role. I believe one of the things they said is he might be a TVA agent in the same style as Owen Wilson. There's some Fantastic Four news. The only thing they confirmed was Matt Shakman he is directing Fantastic Four. That's all you're getting for right now. Dude, oh my God. Let me tell you the absolute, like, I don't know how to describe digital butthurt, but like I saw it on Twitter all day.
We all know it when we see it.
Yeah.
I did.
Like,
I did too.
Everyone was like, they didn't announce the Fantastic Four cast. You can't. It's like, why do you listen to all these people that just say things on the internet for clicks, though? You know what I mean? Like, if you're sharing an article from a random fucking website that has no credibility in the industry, and they're saying Henry Cavill confirmed to be cast in Fantastic, because there's rumors that he's going to be Doctor Doom, and then Jodie Comer,
there's
from Free Guy, and listen, that was on another movie show that I really like, and that guy has a lot of connections. So if he's saying it, it was at least discussed about between executives that she might be playing Miss Fantastic. No word on Mr. Fantastic. Everyone's just assuming it's John Krasinski. And then the
Jack
Thing, Jason Sudeikis, I believe his name is.
What?
Are you talking about Jason Statham?
No, Jason Sudeikis. Like, I Love You, Man. That guy.
No, that was not Jason Sudeikis in I Love You, Man. That's you're thinking of you're thinking of
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel, yes, there you go. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty easy. To mess up, I mean. Either way, Jason Segel is. That
would be a choice.
He's the rumor right now for Fantastic Four. Dude, nobody gave a fuck about the Fantastic Four for decades, and all of a sudden, because Marvel's got the rights to them and announced a fucking logo and a release date, everyone's got a hard-on for them.
I disagree. Everybody was so mad because those movies were like, how many times did we have had failed Fantastic Four?
Listen, don't get me wrong, but it's also one of those things that's like, nobody ever fucking talked about it after that happened either, though. You know what I mean?
Marvel's first family.
But who gives a
fuck?
They
were just disappointed. They were like, this was shit, and then we moved on.
I gotta be honest, the first two Fantastic Four movies are not that awful. They're fun, like,
but they're very of their time.
Yes, they are.
Very of their time.
And then what's that other movie? The one in 2015. I said it from the day they released that trailer. I was like, this movie's gonna suck ass. And then I remember we watched it at my house. The Josh Trank one. And dude, there's a whole story behind that about like how his dogs ruined a house he was staying in. Kathleen Kennedy fired him on the spot from the Boba Fett movie because of his behavior. It was absolutely wild. But he did make a good movie called Chronicle, which everybody should check out if they haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, you know who'd be a good The Thing?
Jack Black.
Jesse Plemons.
Why do they keep putting him in movies?
I like him.
Jesse Plemons and Jared Leto are in the same category of people I don't want to see in movies anymore.
Oh, it is this dude. Yeah, I hate this guy. I don't want to see anything about.
Yeah, I fucking hate this guy.
I get something about his face. Just
who's that?
Nothing he can do about it.
Who's that ginger guy that looks like?
What if he turned into a rock?
It'd be orange, and it'd be his like fucking brow, and it'd just be like,
who?
Oh, I know exactly who you're gonna say. You're gonna say the kid from the
what? Who?
Banner Jabberwocky Banner. What's the fucking? I forget the name. Bandersnatch. That guy.
Oh,
Bandersnatch.
You didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's a girl from outside of school. You guys don't know her.
Poulter.
Will Poulter. He's Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And he beefed up for that role. And then what was the other? Who's the ginger guy that looks exactly like Rupert Grint but isn't Rupert Grint? He's in that movie American Made is not Ed Sheeran. They kept putting him in movies for a while, and I was like, you got to get this guy off the screen because I can't fucking stare at him anymore.
Bill Burr.
It's not Bill Burr. He was in American Made, which is the last thing I think I saw him in.
Domhnall Gleeson?
Not Domhnall Gleeson. It's the other one.
Tom Cruise.
Caleb Landry Jones.
Is that the one? Does he look like Rupert Grint?
Not really.
Not really.
Hold on.
That's probably the one you're thinking of.
Let's see.
Unless he's like
That's him. Yeah, this guy looks like fucking alcoholic Rupert Grint, okay? Like,
wait, hold on.
He looks like fetal alcohol Grint.
Okay, like the picture that I currently have up of him, his skin is so white that there is a flashback from the fucking flash on the camera, okay? It is blinding to photograph this man.
It is lily white.
And the fact that he was in a movie with Tom Cruise absolutely stupefies me. So, there was an Echo update. Vincent D'Onofrio was going to be an Echo. Whoop-de-doo. We knew that. Daredevil, Charlie Cox came on stage to talk about how it's really not Daredevil season 4. They're doing their own new it's still that stuff is still in canon. They're just doing their own thing. You know what I mean? Those adventures happen, all that stuff. Matt carries all that stuff with him into this new series, but the way that they're saying it without saying it so much is that they're starting fresh because they want to. It's almost a decade removed at this point. They want to do a new thing. So good on them. Captain America 4 got a villain. Tim Blake Nelson is returning as the leader from the Incredible Hulk in 2008. And as we said before, this movie is called Captain America: The New World Order. There is a crazy Twitter thread right now accusing Marvel of anti-Semitism. Absolutely. God. I listen.
Now, I mean, obviously, I don't put any stock in any of that. That's ridiculous. But I'm curious: is New World Order a name taken from a comic book that's been out for decades?
I don't know about that, but I've heard many villains in my life throughout comic book or whatever being like, I'll establish the New World Order. You know what I mean? So the last thing I just want to end on was that there was
Thunderbolts?
Yes, but the real quick, if we don't mention it, we'll be called assholes. The Marvels shared a teaser trailer.
Marvels?
The Marvels.
The Marvels.
Like Carvel, like.
Oh yeah,
they all look good. Either way, it was good stuff all around, and I like the idea that every time they use their powers, they trade places. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's I wanted to see, and most of it was shot in Jersey City too. So I can't wait to see what Baldwin Heights looks like.
Yeah, right.
Stomping around,
And then so the Thunderbolts roster was announced. It's Yelena, Red Guardian, Ghost from Ant-Man 2, Taskmaster. Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
Valentina,
U.S. Agent, and Bucky. So this is not the Thunderbolts lineup from the comic books, and I even said
with what they got
right. And listen, I say it all the time. Marvel borrows from comic books in name only. They are never like, oh, we're taking a full fuck. You know what I mean? It just never happens.
Yeah.
The one thing everyone seems to have the problem with is that 4 of these characters all do the same shit, and I am here to disagree with that. 3 of these characters only do the same shit. Okay, it's Red Guardian, it's Bucky, and it's
Yelena.
Captain Cooper.
Yelena.
No, not Yelena. Yelena's Black Widow. These are super soldiers.
What else does she do?
And then
Taskmaster and Red Guardian are, it's like it's father and daughter.
Taskmaster is basically he has photographic memory. That's why he can remember all the Avengers moves and everything like that. Oh, that's right. They changed her to a female.
So I'm interested to see because Taskmaster was such a nothing villain for that movie.
No, it sucks so much.
They really should.
Oh wow, three of these characters are pulled directly from Black Widow.
Oh, it's a Black Widow, Falcon Winter Soldier team up.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are upset that Thunderbolt Ross actually isn't in the lineup, but also one, that actor is dead, and two, like they
get his voice on computer.
Yeah, exactly. Two, I get there's like a Red Hulk thing, like he's supposed to be the Red Hulk. He's not on the team. Abomination isn't on the team. Purple Mask, Zemo isn't on the team. But the thing is that the speculation is now that Zemo might actually be the villain, and same with because she's also going to be in Captain America 4, I believe. Blonde chick, Agent 13.
Carter.
Yeah, Sharon Carter, I believe. So she might.
He would make a good villain. That'd be an interesting.
Well, she's
villain.
the power broker. She's the power broker at the end of Falcon Winter Soldier. So she's a villain.
She's infiltrated the U.S. government.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
so
set it up pretty well.
Kind of like us. No, so it's no, keep going.
I was gonna say there was one non-Marvel thing that we kind of skipped over that I wanted to talk about.
Go for it.
National Treasure, the TV series. The only reason I bring it up is because it's now set, like it's a series, and it's got like a bunch of young actors in the lead, and the lead character is like, my dad left me this medallion and now we're going on this adventure. And John Voight is back, and he's 100 years old, and he's like
he's old as
he's like explaining, here, like, there's all these mysteries, and the guy that looks like Danny, he's back.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Riley. So the thing that got me, I was watching the trailer, and I was like, I just don't buy I watched a behind the scenes, like, making of, and the lead character is supposed to be 22 years old. And I just was thinking, it was like, am I just getting older? Or I just don't buy that these characters that are in their like late teens and early 20s are going on these adventures. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is stupid. Like, why are they just like, it's like Scooby-Doo. But then I looked it up.
I get to go on these adventures.
Well, yes, but also I looked it up. Nick Cage, when he did National Treasure, was 40 years old. Harrison Ford, when he did the first Indiana Jones, he was 38. He was 38. So
time.
What I'm thinking is, why is Hollywood like moving so far away from having like older protagonists to now it's like they got to be just fresh out of high school to be the lead of the. I hate it. It sucks.
You won't get cast in a film in Hollywood now if you don't have a social media presence. You won't get signed to a record label if you don't have a social media presence.
That's fair, but 40-year-olds
no fucking 40-year-old is having a dope social media presence.
40 years old is a millennial.
Or is a comparable media presence to like,
I'm closer to 40 than I am to 15. So then
no, nobody's got any take on that?
What?
On National Treasure being helmed by not Nicolas Cage.
I mean, well, that's what I wanted. Okay, here's what I wanted to follow that up with. Jerry Bruckheimer put out a statement recently saying that they have 3 scripts in the works right now at his house. One of them is a Pirates of the Caribbean sequel without Johnny Depp, or like a reboot sequel thing. One of them is a direct sequel with Johnny Depp starring as Captain Jack Sparrow, and the other one is an official National Treasure 3 with Nick Cage directed. Directed, like attached to star in it.
So if you pull it up on IMDb, it's like it's in there. National Treasure Theory is set to release in 2024. Again, it's IMDb, but
so yeah, and I mean anyone can update that shit. So, that was D23, and like I said, nothing earth-shattering, but fun stuff. You know what I mean? Fun stuff to like later on down the line, we'll hear that like somebody got cast in a movie and be like, oh, she's probably playing it. You know what I mean? It's just to keep the chatter going, pretty much, to keep it, keep that internet traffic going, keep all the sweaties nice and angry. So,
before we move on, my bladder's gonna explode. So you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, we'll get the segue.
We can just start.
Yeah, we're gonna. I knew D23 was going to take a long time, so
Of course. There's a lot.
Let's just move into Pinocchio. First of all, we're doing full spoilers because nobody should watch this. Is number one. Number two, I've watched terrible movies before, but at least I felt something. I've never watched a movie before that my emotional investment was like this the entire time, besides for one line. And we're like, boop. And then that was it the entire time.
Dude, so, I can't, like, for a movie, like, I loved Pinocchio growing up. Like, I loved that movie. I loved, like, all of the, like, we used to watch all of the, like, sing along with Disney songs, and they were all in it. Like, God, to just pull every possible bit of, like, my ability to care for something, just, like, right down the shitter.
And even then, it's going back to the Lion King thing. It's another one of those things where they just do not understand the fucking material that they are adapting, because all of the lessons from this film are just yanked right out. Like, they're drinking root beer instead of real beer. They're fucking, it's like, that was the whole thing, be a bad kid, turn into a donkey. There was...
You gotta learn these lessons.
That's how I live my life.
Yeah. There was, but yeah, that's the whole thing, is like they totally sanitized the actual story of Pinocchio. And not only that, it was absolutely jarring at times. Like seeing Pinocchio, you're like, what the fuck? Is he supposed to be a cartoon, or is he supposed to be like in the real world? Like, it was this weird, like, it's animation, but it's also live action. You know what I mean? And,
it was
like,
a weird, like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like, uncanny valley situation the entire
and like
movie. It's
Robert Zemeckis too, so I'd expect him to do something great. And Tom Hanks was even annoying as fuck in this movie too.
I'm a big I love Robert Zemeckis, but if you've seen what he's done in the last few years, it's like he's not been. I mean, ever since he did what was the Tom Hanks Polar Express. Like, it's been, like, downhill since there. Like, Welcome to Marwin and stuff like that. It's, like, weird, uncanny, weird VFX
It's not
stuff.
Awesome stuff.
But he did bring back my boy Alan Silvestri to do the score, which felt very...
For Pinocchio?
For Pinocchio.
Which is weird, because I thought the score sucked the entire time. I
think you suck.
I didn't even notice the score, to be honest. Like,
dude, talk about
the opening...
Okay.
The opening was very reminiscent of Back to the Future, because I was sitting there and I get, like, the opening to Back to the Future, all the clocks on the wall, you know what I mean? So it was like a callback to it was a callback to Pinocchio, but also Back to the Future, and you hear it immediately, and I was like, this is Alan Silvestri. Pulled it up. Yep, that's him.
So first of all, I just want to say it's not a matter of if, it's when. When are they gonna fucking take the movie you love as a kid and try to remake it and ruin it? And this time, honestly, for this one, it was just like, all right, who's next? Pinocchio next. Like, that's pretty much what it was like. Like, hey, we have to get this done.
The chopping block. I really thought that this was gonna be the one, because it's like there's very few people whose favorite Disney film is Pinocchio. So I was like, this is the perfect one to remake.
It's not, like I said, it's not one of my favorites, but it's up there. I really like it.
It's in the middle. Like, it's never like people are like, I hate Pinocchio, or like, I love Pinocchio. Nick, it's a
Lion King or Aladdin, or like, those are the favorites. Nobody ever says Pinocchio is in their top 3.
It's a real clean spot to be like, we can take a stab at this and maybe do something cool. My entire review for this movie, and like, I don't have a ton more to say about it, was like, it did nothing extra by doing a live action remake of it. Like, it added 0.
And it didn't take away anything either, besides for like all the charm and like magic. Like, all of the musical numbers are like that weird, like, half song thing. Like, just commit, do it. Like,
well, I think we learned that Tom Hanks can't sing, so they made him sing talk.
Oh, yes, he definitely can't sing, which is weird, because there's not much that guy probably can't do on screen.
Yeah, right. The only redeeming thing was visually.
Yes.
I thought, like if,
not Monstro at the end, my guy, with all the fucking water.
They blew the entire load on what was the Fox dudes like?
Honest John. Keegan-Michael Key.
Keegan-Michael Key. He was the best part of the whole thing.
Was the best part of the whole movie, and like that, it looked fantastic. Like I've not seen a like.
But
CGI
that's the thing that weirds me out is that like, why is Honest John a sentient fox and everybody else is like humans? You know what I'm saying?
You don't.
Like that's what I'm getting. And why does Pinocchio supposed to be in the real world, but he looks like he just stepped off of the fucking screen from 1943? Do you get what I'm saying here? It's this weird place that it's in. And it's inviting, but I don't want to go in. Like that's the vibe. You know,
I didn't mind that so much, but the other puppets in the puppet show, I thought looked really off-putting.
Yeah.
They didn't fit the world to me.
So there's actually two things though. Okay, well, there's actually two things though I like about the movie, and I'll just say that first. Right. Number one is I'm not sure if this was in the original, but Geppetto saying that he had a son that died pretty much, and that's why he, you know, creates Pinocchio, and like when Pinocchio comes to life, it like that was real. That really in the beginning when I didn't know that I was up for a fucking shit show, that really that drew me into Geppetto's character. It's not like, oh, I'm just making a puppet. It's like, oh no, he's making this to try and fill a hole in his heart. Yeah, exactly.
I watched the original 1940 Pinocchio before I watched this. That was not part of, you know.
That's what I didn't think it was either.
It may have been implied, but it was not.
They left it out because it's a little too dark for, you know.
But I'm glad that they put it in because I really liked that. I liked and like the way he sings, like if he was still here, and like I was just like, oh, it's so sad. And then dude, Figaro, what the fuck happened to Figaro, man? He is the most CGI thing I've ever seen in my life.
I like Figaro. I didn't have a problem with it.
I just think I think it's a weird choice to do it that way. It's like
why wasn't Figaro just a real cat? Like,
well, there is
just a real cat, or also
so many things that could have been practical weren't. For me, and I mean, are we going full spoilers?
Yeah, we're in full spoilers.
So the clocks. What the fuck with all the Disney references? That pissed me off to no end. You put one subtle one, put a Beauty and the Beast or something, and then have the rest be like the original clocks from the 1940. But the fact that every single clock was a Disney property just made me want to fucking vomit.
Yeah.
But so Geppetto is supposed to be a craftsman, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they just make a bunch of cool practical clocks with like wooden moving? Why were they all CGI? And I get it's probably easier that way, but
again, like it
takes the charm out.
Away. And like this movie was dramatically lacking in charm. If you go from a classic Disney animated movie,
the classic.
Right, like then you need to do something visually or practically that makes it as enticing and as inviting.
So,
but nothing happened that way.
So like I said, I watched the original 1940 before, and one thing that I noticed right off the bat was this is 1940. They were doing this, and as Jiminy Cricket is hopping to Geppetto's, Geppetto's shop. They're doing that parallax thing where Jiminy's vision is moving, and then they have a frame in the window of Geppetto's shop that's moving separately on a different plate. Yeah. It's like that's innovative and interesting and different and ahead of its time. This did nothing that was interesting.
The other thing too is that the other thing that I liked was that Pinocchio. It's such a weird thing, but Pinocchio doesn't trust humans other than Geppetto, so the only way that they can communicate to him is through the
other puppets.
And I thought, like, okay, like that's at least
let's roll
a
with
meaningful progression to Pinocchio's character.
See, that bothered me because Pinocchio is inherently trusting. That's his fatal flaw, is that he just, like, the evils of the world drag him into whatever they're doing because he just trusts. And he's like, okay, if that's what we're doing.
Yeah, like anything to...
He's naive.
Also,
this Pinocchio was just like, I don't trust you. Like, no, you should be inherently naive.
Also, this new... the nose growing thing wasn't as much of a... It wasn't as much of a... what's it called?
Like a plot device.
It wasn't as prominent as it was. I felt in the last one.
No, again, this was something that we were watching, and it was like, oh, I thought the nose thing was more prominent. It was just that one scene when he's in the cage. That's the only time it comes up.
Wow.
Like
it just becomes such a big part of the mythos.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they did implement it differently, because in the 1940 version, the Blue Fairy comes back and is like, I'm only going to help you out this one time, and it shrinks his nose and gets him out of the cage. So this was cool that it wasn't a Deus Ex Machina. He actually used the nose for a purpose.
So what I do really love actually about the Blue Fairy is that the Blue Fairy fucking just stole Jiminy Cricket's one thing to do in this movie, and that was sing "When You Wish Upon a Star."
Right.
And then the Blue Fairy comes down and starts. I'm like, what? No, this is him. This is supposed to be him. Which, do you guys know who played Jiminy Cricket?
JGL.
Yeah, JGL. I was like, he's probably the best person to do an impression of the guy that played Jiminy Cricket back in the day, because they sound very similar,
real close,
like almost to the point where I was like, did they just use the old lines? Like, what's going on here?
What was with the design where he had that like wrinkle running across his face?
I think it's probably just an accurate cricket.
But it looked really bad though.
It did. It looked like a weird hood.
I just want to say, Jiminy Cricket did not look good. He looked
bad.
In some scenes he was all right, and then other scenes I was like, oh. I was like,
if you saw him in profile, it was fine, but straight on it looked weird.
Yeah. One of the other things is that it's kind of weird is that so Pinocchio decides to go into the circus. You know what I mean? He doesn't get kidnapped or swayed into it. So when he lies about how he didn't want to be famous and his nose, how he did want to be, or he just wanted to go to school, whatever the lie that he told contradicts what he actually did. So when the nose doesn't grow, when the nose doesn't grow this time, or as opposed to the 1940s version, it just doesn't make any sense, because those clearly aren't lies, because that's what he went along with. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was tricked into anything.
It's again to Nick's point where this Pinocchio should be inherently naive and he's not, and it's just causing problems.
Be dumber.
I did think that
wood.
What I did like about this one over the original was they had better reasons for the way things happened. They got the characters from point A to point B in a more organic way.
Yeah.
When Pinocchio actually goes to school rather than just immediately getting derailed, and then Geppetto goes to look for him, and then when Geppetto finds out that he went to Pleasure Island, that's why he got a boat, rather than Geppetto just was he's lost at sea now. Just
right, yeah. It's
Pinocchio disappeared and Geppetto's lost at sea.
Yeah.
I like how Geppetto brought Cleo and Figaro with him.
He did in the original too. He's carrying that fucking bowl around.
Again, it's literally just for consistency's sake to bring them.
I do like the one scene where before Geppetto sends Pinocchio off to school, he goes, oh, let me see you. And Pinocchio stands in one place and turns his body around. And I was like, okay, first of all, you should not be doing that in public on your first day in the world. And number two, then Geppetto just goes, oh, so handsome. I was like, nothing changed.
And this is that. All that was shot for shot from the original.
Right.
Even I thought it was interesting too. The front door, which was very an interesting, unique door.
It looks exactly the same
from the original.
Yeah.
But I love when I'm gonna have to do a demonstration. But when Pinocchio first comes out the door, he does this weird little
Yes.
Weird little shuffle. Yeah.
It's so funny that
shuffle.
Yeah.
So, I guess there's obviously a couple other things. We know the movie is shit. We wouldn't recommend to everyone. Let's talk about Monstro though. Was a whale not good enough?
Yeah, it had to be some weird tentacle beast.
The funny thing is too, this was a line they added for this one when there's the lamps, and he's like, oh, ironically enough, it's whale oil. So it's is it a whale or is it a sea monster?
Yeah,
right.
And oh my god, does it look awful? The water. I thought listen.
I'm
gonna bring up Avatar again. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up Avatar again. The reason why people love Avatar is because what it did for cinema.
Because of the water.
And what you're gonna see in December when we see Nick, we're seeing Avatar 2 together. Okay,
I have already resigned myself to that.
We are going to see that in the highest format possible. What's it called? The water in Avatar: The Way of Water is all CGI, besides for some stuff here and there, and it looks absolutely incredible. The fact that this movie came out from the same fucking studio that's doing Avatar with water that looked like fucking water from PlayStation 2 era video games.
They could have just taken the
You can see the rough edges on the cutout from where they just copy and pasted the effect. And there's just no emotion smoothing, nothing. It is just a raw water texture when they fly out of Monstro's mouth, and it looks awful. So bad. The other problem was they chose to have the climax of the movie take place during the day, which is like the worst thing you could do for CGI characters. Like, you cannot have giant CGI creatures out during the day. That's why every Godzilla movie's set at night.
Well,
because
I mean,
the lighting.
You should be able to do that.
I mean, yes, I would agree with that, but also it's just like an easier process. You know, it's just
like
the lighting is a little better. Yeah, exactly.
Make it more like spooky.
Monstro is just a black blob. Yeah, you can't put that at night.
I don't know what his dimensions are. I don't know what the weight of him is. He doesn't feel like a real
How many hands
character.
he has,
Yeah, like what's the tentacle situation? And it was just like a weird, like it's like they got to Monstro and then they just finished up the Monstro story like really quick. Like they didn't even like try to ride it out a little bit or like be in the belly of the beast or anything. So then
that's true. They got right the fuck out of there.
I know. Like I do love the one part where he's like, "Is that cricket is your conscience?" Like
yeah.
I loved that. And when they kill Monstro, I guess they kill him.
He killed himself.
Yeah.
He bashed his own brains against that rock.
Let's talk about the fucking ending, because that's when I literally got up and was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? That's the whole point of the movie. The whole point." And not only that, Jiminy Cricket's just like, I don't know. Some say, what do you mean some say? You're the fucking narrator. What, we're going to finish the whole fucking story and you're not going to tell me the ending? Like, what the fuck is going on?
You're not going to wrap this up a little nicely for me?
So the ending is that it's ambiguous if Pinocchio ever becomes a real boy, because the understanding is that Geppetto loves him so much anyway, which wasn't demonstrated in the film, but that's just how I took it. Geppetto loves him so much anyway that it doesn't matter if Pinocchio is a real boy, because he says to him, "You'll always be my real boy," or like whatever it is, right?
Right, and they give us like an Inception totem thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just like, are you fucking serious? I wanted to be like, is Pinocchio going to be an animated real boy, or are they going to put a real boy in there? That's what I was thinking about.
And they made a fucking animated one. Like,
but did they? Like, that's the thing. It's like there's like a split second.
There's like a quarter second where he smooths out his like knees and they're no longer like a lever.
Okay. So here's the thing that I took issue with. It's a small thing, but I think to me it mattered more than does he turn into a real boy or not. This is a child and he's made out of wood. Why does he have wrinkles on his fucking forehead?
Actually, that's a good point.
He has grain.
Yeah, the whole time he's like, he raises his eyebrows and he's got like fucking long ass fucking wrinkles. You're a block of wood and you're fucking a child.
His name is Chris Pine.
Dude. Oh no.
They use the word influencer.
Dude, I can't. Believe that.
Dude. All right. So we were watching the original one, and we're sitting there, and I'm theorizing in my head, and I turned to Alexis, and I was like, yeah, rather than becoming an actor, like, you know, if this was 2022, he would be like a, you know, like a TikTok star, an influencer.
Yeah.
And then they said it. I was like, holy shit. They went for the easiest, cheapest jokes.
Yep. Let's shut it off.
Luke Evans,
the Chris Pine joke made me so angry.
Luke Evans is actually great in this movie, but he's barely in it. The Pleasure Island sequences, once again, were cool, like visually, but they led to nothing because the lesson is like, the whole point is fuck around and find out.
Yeah,
that's
he
the
never
whole point.
fucks around.
He never fucks around.
He's sewing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and like, what is fucking around about? Yo, I'm going to an amusement park with my friends and we're drinking root beer, son. Like, what the fuck?
I won't smash a clock.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck is going on? Like, that's the lesson of the movie. Don't be a piece of shit. Like, and
it's a morality play.
Yeah, and they just threw the morality out. It's like, what if they don't do anything, but he still turns into a donkey? And the other the other guy and fucking Bob Chapek's like, that's a great idea.
I did think that the monsters design was really fucking cool.
The monsters?
The smoke monsters that like the ones that load the donkeys into crates.
Yes.
That scary scene.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, so they get kids here, they turn them into donkeys, and then what do they need? What do they need donkeys for when they clearly have these ethereal beings on their sides that they can just use for anything?
They sell the donkeys.
Yeah, ethereal beings don't make money, Pat, in capitalist society.
That's right. You're right. I'm sorry. I fucked up.
You could try to sell them, but they're not going to be cool with it. Donkeys,
So,
they got nothing to say.
Shipping them to Tijuana.
Is there anything else that we need to cover real quick or no?
I don't think so.
As far as Pinocchio is concerned, I really, honestly, like, my whole once over of this is just skip this entirely. It's not only Disney's worst remake, it's Disney's worst film. Like, the worst Disney movie I've seen in a long time.
Worse than Song of the South.
I mean, like, you know, I'm just saying there was some fuck ups in between Song of the South and this, but from the last time something was this awful, this is the new standard.
Right. If we had the even playing ground,
we're
gonna do it off that.
Yeah. If it wasn't like Song of the South is like way up here, Pinocchio's still here with all the other shit.
What do you guys think of the the new character, the new puppeteer with the leg injury? I thought her puppet looked weird, and I did not like the design of it, and I felt her whole plot was unnecessary.
I don't know why.
What was her song that she sang?
I don't remember.
Is that a new one?
Song of the South.
Yeah, it was a new one.
Zippity Doodah.
Zippity Doodah.
Yeah, none of the music is memorable. One of the complaints I got from somebody that I talked to about it said that the singing was awful. I was like, what fucking singing? They sang the whole thing, besides for Luke Evans, and he has one big note. That was it. Like,
right.
Well, also Luke Evans is he's the carriageman.
He's the carriage guy, and he's on Pleasure Island serving motherfuckers root beer. All right.
So why I don't understand why he needed a song there. Like, why did they put a song at that one point? It felt forced.
Because he's the only
one
that's singing. Like.
Yeah, it's true. Luke Evans is probably the only one in the cast who can actually sing. So
yeah, why not use him? All right, let's shovel some stuff.
And and listen, he's good as like. Honestly, the only Disney live action remake that has the ones that have truly been amazing are The Jungle Book. I thought was really good, and I really love Beauty and the Beast. And specifically because I think Luke Evans is absolutely incredible in that film because he plays Gaston.
He played Belle?
Yeah, he was Belle. Yeah, he was Belle. No, he played Gaston, and he was fucking awesome in that movie. So I was excited to see him here, and I'm glad I got to see his talents and everything again. But it's at the same time, it's just like, for what though? It was not in service to this story at all. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
So.
Also weird that they took out so much of the Blue Fairy. She only had that one scene, and rather than being like stoic and ethereal, they made her sarcastic, and she like didn't know what she was doing.
She had one scene, and they gave my man's song to her. Okay,
they did take a lot away from Jiminy, but also it's weird that they took. She should show up 2 other times in the movie, and they just put her in that one scene, and then never to be seen again.
I know, it's fucked up, but whatever. All right, so listen, honestly, you guys, here's where I'm at. This is like a fucking 0 out of 10 for me. Do not watch this. It's the biggest piece of shit. Yes, it's 0. Skip. It's bad. Even the things that I like about it would only amount to maybe a 0.5. Like, it's so bad. And the ending is such a kick in the dick if you like Pinocchio as a kid. And like,
I wasn't bothered by the ending.
I was bothered by it because that's the fucking whole point. Is like, I'm
a
real boy.
This movie no longer has a point, so it doesn't matter if he becomes a real boy.
Yeah, I guess
if everybody's super, no one is.
Yeah, I guess if you look at it from the angle that, this is gonna be a piece of shit that has no point anyway.
What does it matter if Pinocchio becomes a real boy if he never broke anything, if he never drank any beer, never smoked any cigars?
Oh yeah, I guess he never did what it takes to become a real boy. So
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
So suck on your root beer, you fucking wooden piece of shit.
Right.
So yeah, it's awful.
That's the tag.
Yeah, don't watch this. It's bad. So I'm gonna save clip of the week for next week because it's really good. It's still circulating around the internet. I can't believe it hasn't blown up all over. I've seen it on some other podcasts, but I cannot believe it has not like blown up this channel spot like what this guy said.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild. So
you're gonna wait another week for it to blow
up?
And
we'll see what the fallout is.
We might have better reaction.
Yeah, but I know that you guys don't follow this person, and the only reason I know about it is because somebody I listened to brought up the clip, and I was like, oh, this is so worth bringing on our show. So, and getting your guys' reaction. So let's just wait till next week. Plus, we already got a long enough one this week. So with that
how long
said,
we've been recording at this point?
Just 2:10.
Okay.
So thank you very much for everyone for tuning in to this week's episode of Press Any Key. Thank you very much if you've been with us for 2 years, if you've been with us for 1 year, 6 months, a day, if you left yesterday, whatever. Just thanks so much for your time. Your commitment to us is always very welcomed, and we appreciate it a lot. So once again, thank you very much for listening. I'm Pat. That is Nick McFly and Mike Burke, and you can find us on all of social media at pressanykey.tv. Thank you very much. We will see you next week for an in-person show with our guests to talk about fucking Pearl. Goodbye, everyone.